There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam, all right? Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever this video finds you, welcome to Ticks. And of course, I got my sports intro. Because this is all about sports. And we're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders. And before we get into this, I'm going to say it again. And I'm on record saying it. I've got the videos on my sports channel saying it before the draft. I did not want Shedeur Sanders to come to Cleveland. Not because I don't like him, because I watched him play at Jackson State his final year. I watched that season. I watched a season and a half at Colorado, and I was done because I didn't see any marketed improvement. One of the reasons that I didn't want him to come was because of the fanfare. And with him being in Cleveland right now, the way I see it, he is Johnny Manziel with Tim Tebow's fanfare. Except instead of white audience, he has a black audience. Well, they make 1,001 excuses for the kid. And you're not doing him any favors by doing that. You're really not. But also, I knew that there would be a problem if he fell to the Browns. If he was passed up by the Giants, the Jets, the Raiders, the Steelers, and the Saints in the first round, if he was passed up by those 5 teams that were quarterback strapped in the first round, I knew there was a problem. Then, of course, we know came the second round, then the third round, then the fourth round, and then the 5th round where the Ravens wanted him because, you know, Lamar Jackson has a problem finishing games, finishing the season. He's getting up there in age where he gets hurt. He'll miss a couple of games every now and then. And they wanted to take him, and he said, no, thank you. He literally said, no, thank you. And finding that out and what happened with his Giants interview where he tanked their interview and everything. You know, in all honesty, I blame Deion for that because he filled this kid's head with a false sense of bravado. All right, he gave him a fake ego. You've been coaching him since what? Grade school? Ever since he could walk and talk and hold a ball, you've been coaching him. He hasn't had any coaches outside of you. What I saw at Colorado was a lot of hero ball. Now, don't get me wrong, he was able to make plays. He will throw the ball downfield. But the problem is that sometimes you have to do the check down. You have to hit the intermediate routes. You have to be able to read the blitz. You have to be able to get rid of the ball quick. In college, he had a bad habit of trying to evade the pass rushers by running around them instead of past them, going up into the pocket, left, right, center. He tried to run around them to the outside. And of course, those college defensive ends, they're not really that fast. You might be able to get around them, but there are a lot of times that he didn't. Hence him being the most sacked quarterback 2 years running, playing at Colorado. Not to mention there are times that he held on to the ball too long. As much as he wanted to blame the offensive line, how many times Riley get touched? Bruh, sometimes you have to help out your offensive lineman just by helping out yourself. You have to help out the team by helping out yourself, by being able to read the blitz and get rid of the ball. And unfortunately, his father had Mark Trestman as the offensive coordinator. Mark Trestman, is it Mark Trestman? Hold on, I want to make sure I get the right name. Let's see, Colorado. Whoops. I want to make sure I get the right name because he used to be a Browns coach. Pat Shurmur, excuse me. Pat Shurmur was his offensive coordinator for the 2 years that he was there. 2023 is when he started. Pat Shurmur will never be an offensive coordinator in the NFL again before he went to Colorado because he was just that bad as an NFL offensive coordinator, let alone a head coach. He was a head coach for the Browns for 1 year, and God, he was terrible. That was when we were going through a cycle of coaches, and we never hired anybody that was worth anything. But I digress. Pat Shurmur doesn't know how to develop an offense. He doesn't know how to develop a quarterback. So all of the bad habits that Shedeur Sanders picked up in college were never corrected. Plus, the reason why he had those habits is because that's just his style of play. You know how they talk about a quarterback like Brady, 3-step drop and throw. Peyton Manning, 3-step drop and throw. They're able to read a defense. They're able to check off on the blitz and everything. Now, of course, it took them about a year or two to get that under control, but their style of play did not put them in danger like that. Sure, they had some turnover issues, though not so much with Brady as you did with Peyton Manning, because, I mean, I don't know. I guess they thought they were going to win the Super Bowl his rookie year. Playoffs? You get me? Playoffs? Like we win the damn game. Another game. At any rate, yeah, that cost Jim Mora his job. He never coached in the NFL again. But with this kid right here, him coming to Cleveland, it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea. His style of play, that's something that you have to drill out of him that may take about a good 3 to 4 years to learn how to play in an NFL system. You take a 3-step drop, you get rid of the ball. If you feel the pressure, you don't try to run outside the tackle box. You saw what happened yesterday. No different than that Rams preseason game where y'all were like, oh, he was playing with all the tackles, the offensive linemen that were cut. Yeah, well, what's up, Detroit? Well, now he out here playing with guys who aren't cut. He is out here with the grown men starters. He got the brakes beat off of him. Sure, he has some nice throws, and we're gonna get through them. But understand, like, as much as y'all want to say conspiracy and Stefanski is a racist, even though he's had Deshaun Watson and DTR and how about say Jamarcus Russell, Jameis Winston, okay, he's Tyrod Taylor. He's had black quarterbacks. What are y'all talking about? This has nothing to do with racism and has nothing to do with Deion or Stefanski. It has everything with Unfortunately, because of the front office, Dillon Gabriel gives them the best chance to win. You saw they were up 16-10 before he went out with the concussion on a stupid offensive call. Why the hell are you running your 5'6" quarterback on a quarterback sweep? What's up? You gonna run your 5'6" quarterback on the quarterback sweep, and then he gets concussed to start the third quarter. That was so stupid. If anything, you want to talk about a conspiracy set up to fail, I think Dillon Gabriel was set up to fail on that play. I mean, that was a dumb call. But at any rate, before we get to the tape, let's dispel the biggest excuse, because I knew the train was coming. Excuse train is coming. Excuse train is coming. Excuse train is coming. Oh, he wasn't prepared. Excuse train is coming. He didn't get no snaps. Excuse train is coming. Let's see what some career backups who wound up doing something with their careers. Let's hear what they have to say. Let's start off with probably the greatest career backup success story in the NFL, Kurt Warner. He said, wherever I was, the backup rarely got number one reps. I wanted all the reps when I was number one, and if backup got any of it, it was a couple at the end of different periods. And of course, there's this guy who's never played football. He said, except when Flacco was QB1, Gabriel got one's reps as the number 2 quarterback, because Flacco was not going to start the rest of the year. Everybody knew that. And this was before he got traded. That was no secret in Cleveland that Flacco was probably going to do about 6 games, and then they were going to turn it over to Dillon Gabriel to see what they had. Why do you think they traded Flacco? Although do understand that had nothing to do with the head coach. That had nothing to do with Stefanski. That was a front office move that caught Stefanski completely by surprise when he showed up to work that morning. I mean, you see, Mike Tomlin was hot. Mike Tomlin was hot. And you saw the results of that first game. I mean, they got their revenge. And yes, Jamar Chase did spit on Jalen Sugar Tank Ramsey. He did spit on him. Jamar Chase tend to forget that, bruh, there's 3 cameras on you in high def, 4K. They caught you in 4K. Fuck that loogie. But you sit up here and lie. So he said, so why would Shedeur get 0 once he became QB2 with the same staff? That's the inconsistency being questioned, because in all honesty, he wasn't even supposed to be the second string quarterback. It was supposed to have been Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and then Shedeur Sanders. And in all honesty, if you ask me, they should have they should have cut him, and then had he passed waivers, put him on the practice squad. But in all honesty, they should have cut him. You really should have cut him. If you really wanted a third quarterback, Tyler Huntley should have been your third string quarterback, if not your second string quarterback. Because you see, they traded Kenny Pickett to the Raiders, who hasn't taken a snap yet. Joe Flacco was balling out in Cincinnati. So now you're stuck with 2 rookies and Bailey Zappi. They were saying, well, how come Shedeur's not running practice team reps? Well, we see now. Because if he's doing in practice what he did in that game, then there's no real reps that's being done. The scout team, the defense isn't getting any real scout team quarterback reps. If the quarterback is too scared to throw the ball in the rhythmic offense, he's too busy trying to make it about himself. He's playing Fred Astaire back there. He looked worse than Caleb Williams did his rookie year. I mean, Caleb Williams had all sorts of time to throw, but was too busy, again, playing Fred Astaire in the backfield before he was eventually chased down and sacked for a 2nd and 18, 3rd and 24. Because he didn't trust his eyes. Like Retro said, because they knew Gabriel was going to get the first opportunity post Flacco. He needed all the reps he could get. He was in the highest draft pick and the bigger investment. This isn't a fucking conspiracy. You guys sound like lunatics. People who legitimately have no idea how this works. And that's true. We'll skip right there and we'll come to Luke McCown. Y'all remember Luke McCown? Career backup, Luke McCown? Here's what he said. Former 4th round pick here, former journeyman backup here. And when that's true, I think there's a massive misunderstanding about how an NFL practice is structured. The only time mid-round pick rookies and backups get meaningful reps is in training camp, and they are never with the ones unless you are competing or starting that next preseason game. Regular season practices have 10 to 12 plays per period. That's team run, team pass, team blitz pickup, and some teams still do a 7v7 period. But for the most part, that's a 30-40 live full speed reps of the actual game plan practiced on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the NFL. These all go to the starting quarterback. He's the one that has to be ready, he's the one that has to be to get ready. He messed that up. And if healthy, he gets to make that call. These team periods alternate between O and D with backups and PS, practice squad players, and even some guys that will play significant roles on Sunday, serving as scout team look squads for those periods. This is where we backups get our reps. You have to try and translate what the scout team play is into your offense and play it accordingly. Honestly, this is a lot of times more beneficial to you as a quarterback because you're getting reps against a full defense of starters at full speed. The minus being that it's not necessarily your offensive plays you're running. Folks don't understand. It's incredibly difficult, probably the hardest job in all the sports. To be a backup quarterback for this very reason. Because of, I know his spelling is punctuations, all that, but I'm reading it as he wrote it. Because of limited to no reps and same expectations. And that is you must come in and perform at the same level as the guy you replace for your teammates, coaches, and your own career security. You come in and struggle and you're evaluated on that performance. Right or wrong, the league makes its judgments about you. That's why it's so hard for backups to have long careers that weren't at one point full-time starters. Not to guys like myself and my buddies Chase Daniel and Dan Orlovsky. Yet it stinks that that's the situation Shedeur came into. I've been there, literally, with the Browns as a rookie, as a mid-round pick. Yeah, he was. I remember. So have many other rookies. You play, you learn, and grow and get better, or you don't. Absolutely, reps help. Absolutely, he'll get better with a full week of prep. But those are the hands as backups we're dealt, and in those moments, and we have to make the most of them. Shedeur will be better with reps for sure, but if Dillon Gabriel remains the guy, the facts of life in an NFL practice still remains for us backups. Because if you thought that Sanders gave the Browns a better chance to win after watching that 30 minutes of football play, I mean, clearly you don't know football. They were up 16-10. They lost by 7. That kid could not move the ball. And now let's get into, of course, the you know what? I don't even want to call it the pro-black. I'm just gonna call it the whack.
Yeah, play with that.
I'm gonna call this the whackness of Stephen A. Smith, because you know Stephen A. Smith has been a sports commentator for at least over 20 years, right? Right? You would think he's Mr. ESPN right now. So you would think he would know the NFL, right? But clearly he doesn't. He's more so a basketball guy. But I'm gonna let him cook.
And I think that's important to say. AAA Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. One other item I wanted to get to before we go to break. And that is Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, the QB2 backup quarterback for the Cleveland Browns,
Mhm.
finally got to see some action. Dylan Gabriel, the starting quarterback, goes down with a concussion. Myles Garrett is having a hell of a day. Sacked Lamar Jackson 4 times. Has 10 sacks in the last 3 games. Just a monster. That's what Myles Garrett is. Just a monster. Clearly doing.
Yeah, because he finally has help on the defensive line. Myles Garrett, like they were taking him out early in the season. The first 5 games of the season, they were taking him out and just putting him in on spot pass rushing down. So you're like, where the hell is Myles Garrett? They show him on the sidelines with his hands on his hip, looking like, why the hell am I not in there? Like, dude, Myles Garrett is not just a pass rusher. Okay? That dude plays the run like crazy. They don't run to his side. That's why the Browns, if you watch the games, they always run to the right. They kill the Browns on the right side because Myles Garrett is on the left. And Denzel Ward can't tackle. So they run it to the right where Denzel Ward is. And McGuire, who's a 3rd-year player who's just now starting to find his NFL legs, but he's not there yet. Plus, Myles Garrett takes up 2, 3, 4 people, leaving it wide open for the other 3 defensive linemen or a blitzing linebacker or safety to get right in there. That's why quarterbacks have been running for their lives. But I digress.
On his job. There was a pick 6. There were 3 turnovers, also committed by the Ravens. They struggled miserably against the Browns defense on Sunday.
That's mainly because they left Myles Garrett in the game. Instead of giving him a snap count, they just let him run havoc. And he was just killing Lamar Jackson.
The problem is the Browns couldn't score. And here was the even bigger problem. After Dylan
4 of 16, 47 yards passing, an interception, and 16 rushing yards. Entered the game with 12:43 left in the 3rd quarter. Oh, he also had a fumble, but the Browns recovered the fumble.
Gabriel exited the game early in the 3rd quarter due to the concussion. He was replaced by Shedeur Sanders, who finally got a chance to be in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, he was awful. Awful. 4 of 16 passing, 47 yards, 1 interception, sacked twice, had a passer rating of 13.5. Ran for his life, scrambled for 3 carries, 16 yards. Only notable rookie quarterbacks who completed 25% or fewer passes in a game include Hall of Famers Terry Bradshaw and Joe Namath, as well as Eli Manning. But Shedeur Sanders had the worst per-play efficiency rating by any quarterback in any game this season. It was bad. Completed his first couple of passes, and then after that, we couldn't even see if he was a quarterback. It was that bad. Finished 4 of 16. 4 of 16 passing for 47 yards and 1 interception. Before I go into my take about this, let's hear from Shedeur Sanders and what he had to say. Play that.
It's time for me to step up. I don't think I played good. I don't think I played good at all. I think it's a lot of things, we need to look at, during the week, go and just get comfortable, even throwing routes, with Jerry and throwing routes with all those guys. The most I can ask for is opportunity. That's an uncontrollable thing that I'm not able to control, and that's not nothing I should speak on, just being the quarterback of this team, this franchise. They gave me an opportunity. I ain't do up to my expectation, enough to get us a win. I just got to take that one to the chin.
He was in the game since early in the 3rd quarter. All the offense could produce was 4 first downs, 64 yards, and not a single point.
That I blame the offensive coordinator and Kevin Stefanski, because he turned over play calling during the bye week, because I guess he was looking for another scapegoat to fire. But little do you know, this is his last season. They're gonna clean house. You can clearly tell they're going to clean house. And I swear to God, if they lose the Raiders game, that might be it for Stefanski. They might as well tell him to stay out in Vegas and gamble, try to get his money back. But, yeah, they abandoned the run. Judkins was having a good day in the first half. I mean, it was a workmanlike day. He was averaging like 3.9 yards a carry against the Ravens. You got a 6-point lead. You keep pounding the rock. Put a defensive tackle in the backfield, an backup offensive lineman, and you just run the ball down their throats. You just beat them to death. You run them to Judkins. You run the ball and pound them and lay on them until Judkins is throwing up. That's what you do when you start a rookie quarterback. When you can't throw, when your offensive line can't pass block because your tackle positions are garbage. I don't care if you go 3 and out. Put the fullback back there, a big heavy body guy back there, and you just run the ball. Power left, power right, power I. Power left, power right, power I. I run it till my running back's feet fall off. Play action pass, quick pass out to the flat. Roll out to the flat, or hey, run it if you have to. Run the option. Do something. Why do you think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens were so good with that hellified defense his first 3 years in the league when we knew he couldn't throw the football? They ran the pistol until they couldn't run it anymore. That's what you do with a quarterback that can't throw. A rookie quarterback. Somebody that hasn't quite caught up to the speed of the game. Baker Mayfield's rookie year, when he finally got a chance to play, and they fired Hugh Jackson because he's out here, got the guy out in 3 and 5 wide. He's a rookie. They're blitzing the hell out of him, just like they did Shedeur. And Baker was getting the snot kicked out of him. They fired Hugh Jackson and let Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, take over. And all he did was just run Chubb till Chubb threw up. That's how we wound up finding out that Nick Chubb was a damn good running back. He was a rookie too, with a bad offensive line.
NFL scouts, aficionados said the game appeared to be too quick for him, that he routinely held onto the ball too long and was subjected to immense pressure, 11 quarterback pressures and 2 sacks, by the way. They want to bring that up. They also want to bring up the fact that Cleveland didn't convert a third down until Sanders took off for a 5-yard scramble late in the third quarter and finished 2 of 14 for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it. This smells. I don't know whether Shedeur Sanders is an NFL quarterback or not. And I don't blame anybody for assuming and surmising that he may not be. But how does he get 0 snaps with the first team?
Now, y'all heard me read Kurt Warner and McCown, career backups who were wound up being starters. One's got a gold jacket, won a Super Bowl, played in 3 Super Bowls overall, and career backup. And all the career backups who are all over ESPN are telling you, what the hell are y'all talking about? We didn't get snaps or reps with the first team because we're the backup. Hello? But it was our job to be ready. This is the NFL, not college, not Pee-wee. You don't get a gold star and a cookie for your participation. This is grown men. This is your job. Either you come into the game ready to play as the backup quarterback, either you're ready to play or you're not. And they'll eventually find somebody else that'll be ready to play. If you keep showing that you're not ready to play, look at Russell Wilson up in New York. now the third string quarterback. I'm surprised they haven't benched Geno Smith yet. Your backup quarterback needs to be ready to play. Mac Jones, anyone out in San Francisco, he's the backup to a Mr. Irrelevant, the last player picked. He's now his backup. Who, in all honesty, like if you were to get a free agent quarterback, I'll never forget. I got it on tape. I said, "Hey, grab Mac Jones." Like I would rather have Mac Jones hold down the fort with a rookie quarterback sitting behind him. Give me Mac Jones. You can get him cheap, maybe about $2 to $4 million. Get him on that vet minimum. He gets the start. He's a young guy. He's durable. He can hold up. Bill Belichick ruined him, putting Matt Patricia in as offensive coordinator, thinking that you were going to get Tom Brady results. But he was doing just fine with Josh McDaniels as his OC. His rookie year, he was balling. Remember? Look at what he did out in San Francisco. 300 yards passing games with backup wide receivers. I also wanted the Browns to draft Jackson Dart, but the Giants snuck back into the first round to get him. I thought we'd get him at the top of the second. But, that's the NFL. But, Stephen A. Smith, 20-year sports commentator, surrounded by former NFL players, seems to think that backup quarterbacks get first-team reps. And this is why I don't listen to Stephen A. Smith.
Players able to say they were unfamiliar with his snap count. He wasn't prepped at all. You're a QB2. Your QB1 is an undersized dude, a hit away from getting concussed and taken out of the game. Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. He knows a thing or two about coaching football. How unprepared did Shedeur Sanders look? Suddenly
whose fault is that, though? Every backup player knows that they are a play away from getting into the game. And if you ain't ready to go, whose fault is that? If you're not injured and you come into the game unprepared, whose fault is that? You're a grown-ass man. Are you not responsible for how you practice, how you prepare, how you study the playbook? You know what I mean? On good teams, you know what you normally see? You normally see the backup quarterback maybe playing catch with the third string wide receiver or a ball boy or something, just staying loose. Quarterback come to the sideline, you know what they're in the helmet, they're in the ear, they're standing next, the backup is standing next to the coach. He watching the plays. The quarterback comes off the bench, and Jacoby Brissett used to do this back when he was in Indy. When he was traded to the Colts, Peyton Manning come to the sideline, they going over the pictures and the iPads and stuff. Jacoby Brissett right there looking at the stuff with him. Well, what did you see? Hey, what did you? I don't. What's this? What's that? Oh, okay, you seeing that? Okay, yeah, because hey, if Peyton Manning get hurt, which was very, 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 but in case he get hurt, I'm ready to play. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. That's why he's now the starter out in Arizona. They got Kyler Murray on the bench trying to figure out what team is going to be stupid enough to take him in a trade. Maybe the Raiders. Yeah, because Jacoby Brissett is running the offense better than Kyler Murray because he studied, he learned from the best. He backed up some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He backed up Brady. He backed up Manning. He backed up Watson. Okay, before he went to crap. You got to be ready to play. The hell are you talking about, Stephen A?
He's not comprehending plays. Suddenly, he doesn't know the playbook. Suddenly, he doesn't know what's going on. That's not the reputation that we've ever heard about Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, because because you didn't watch the games at Colorado, Stephen. I did. That's Snowman. He watched the games. Watch anybody that watched Colorado games with a real objective opinion, and they'll tell you, like, man, this dude is always trying to throw, but he always chucking it downfield. Notice that none of his wide receivers were drafted before him in the 5th round. The only player that went before Shedeur was Travis Hunter, and he's on injured reserve, and he's really not that good of an NFL wide receiver, and he can't tackle as an NFL defender. I don't know what the hell the Jaguars were thinking. He should have went to a team like a Baltimore where you could use a gimmick guy like that. Of course, they're picking late in the 1st round. But, you know, they're not stupid. They drafted Starks, the free safety, who's damn good, late in their 1st. You notice you don't hear about any players coming out of Colorado this year going to the NFL. You don't have you didn't have kingmakers on that Colorado team. You had hype machines. Travis Hunter, in maybe 2 years, when he gets some good NFL legs together, maybe he'll make a good cornerback, possibly in the nickel, in the slot, and maybe he can spell a 3rd or 4th wide receiver just to draw some attention from somebody. Maybe a little gadget play for him every now and then. But as far as the way they were hyped up to be, no. Trust me, there were plenty of complaints about Shedeur's style of play coming out of Colorado. It's just that it was drawn out by the sycophants who were saying that he was a 1st round pick. I'm still waiting on an NFL scout or general manager that was in the league that thought that he was a 1st round pick. Still waiting.
We've heard he's incredibly familiar with the playbook. We've heard that he's very, very smart. Now, the knock against him is that he's about the why. He's not somebody that just does what he's told. He wants to know why. That's true. But it smells. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it smells to me. I really viewed him as being set up to fail.
How?
Or at least not prepared to succeed. Maybe set up to fail is too strong because it speaks to the intent of a malice nature by the head coach, Kevin Stefanski, which I would not do. I'm not going to impugn that man's integrity in any way like that. But can we?
Yeah, because you sound very stupid.
We at least say that he wasn't positioned to succeed? Can we say that?
How was he not in position to succeed? Everybody gets a
Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen some awful quarterbacks in NFL history that never looked like Shedeur Sanders looked yesterday.
Johnny Manziel looked just that. Johnny Manziel. Okay, for those of y'all who are not familiar with Johnny Manziel, because I know y'all know the name. You know, like I said, longtime Browns fan. Johnny Manziel, I was so happy when they got him. Johnny, yeah. I mean, the radio host was going crazy and everything. Yeah, we got Manziel because I watched his bowl games. And the kid was amazing in college, just like Tim Tebow was amazing in college. Just like Justin Fields was amazing in college. Just like Caleb Williams was amazing in college. But now you up here with grown men. You're not playing against guys who were driving beer trucks and pumping gas, you know, working at warehouses and going off to college, hoping to, you know, maybe get a degree doing something, selling cars or whatnot. No, those guys aren't in the NFL. It's the best of the best now. Johnny Manziel came in against the Bengals, and they just ran the prevent defense, and the Browns offense couldn't do anything. He couldn't throw worth a damn. They rushed him in. The Browns were 7-5 with Brian Hoyer, career backup. 7-5. They went through a 3-game stretch where they lost some games because of injury. You had some injuries on the offense. So they went on a 3-game stretch where they lost 3 games, 3 tough games. So they inserted Johnny Manziel in for the rest of the year. And that's when we had Mike Shanahan as the offensive coordinator, you know, the 49ers head coach, who they were talking about, well, if Mike Patton fails, we'll elevate Mike Shanahan to the Browns head coach. Mike Shanahan, by the 3rd game, had turned in his resignation with a PowerPoint presentation of why he was getting the fuck up out of Cleveland. Because the owner and GM overrode Mike Patton, the head coach, overrode him and put in Johnny Manziel because the fans wanted to see him play. This is the same shit. Same shit. Same shit, different players. Then they started Johnny Manziel the following year, and Mike Patton was gone before the bye week. Because Manziel was trash. We all know how his career turned out. Went up to Canada, he was trash there. Went to the Arena League, he was trash there. I think he even went to, like, you know, one of those little offshoot football leagues that was started here in the Americas. He was trash there. And now he's out of football, bitching and moaning about, oh, Cleveland did me dirty. No, it was you. It was you. Notice the only quarterback that the Browns drafted that wound up making something of themselves was Baker Mayfield. That went to another team was Baker Mayfield. The rest of them did absolutely nothing, which goes to show you something. That should tell you something. And he was drafted by a GM that had an eye for talent.
Complete just first 2 passes, and then after that, folks looking around, looking like, what's going on? Don't seem like they know whether they coming or going. Not to mention the fact that with Dylan Gabriel, you get rid of the ball quickly because he's undersized, can't see over the line of scrimmage, got to get rid of the ball quickly because he can't see the field, and ain't the greatest deep thrower in the world. Whereas somebody like Shedeur Sanders does have an arm. He does have more size on him. And he does have a tendency to hold on to the ball for too long because he's not scared to stand in the pocket and wait for an opportunity to present itself so he can throw the ball downfield. You got 2 different types of quarterbacks. And you do nothing to prepare him?
He wasn't supposed to play.
Smells, y'all. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
It smells like you don't know what the hell you're talking about for a guy who's a sports columnist. But anyway, let's get to the tape. Let's get to the tape. And I'll show y'all exactly what the problem is. So, let me back it up. that playing in real time? Oh no, hold on. Hold on. All right, let's back it up and let's start it. So the Ravens came with a blitz on this play to the outside, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, this isn't it. All right, so let's see. Hold on, let me just watch the play, then we'll go through it. Because this was every snap that he took. God damn it. Hold on. Hold on. Let me remove it and bring it back. Because it's choppy. Hold on. I hate when I do that. Okay.
Score from Baltimore. You might want to attack him very early in this down situation.
Maybe that's just a video. Better yet, you know what? Hold on. Because apparently StreamYard is not giving me a good, StreamYard is not giving me a good video. So hold on. We'll go to the Twitter twatter. Go to Twitter. Let's see here. I believe I may have resent it to myself. Because I'm gonna show y'all the tape. The tape don't lie. Tape don't lie. We all know that. Tape don't lie. Oh, here we go. All right. Share the screen.
Throwing on first down, and he's got a completion immediately.
Yep. Hold on, I gotta mute it. Don't need it. Don't need them killing the stream. All right. All right. So this is every pass that he threw yesterday. There we go. Clean tape. Nice rollout. Nice throw. Boom. You got a rookie quarterback. That's what you do. Fake the run. If you're gonna throw, you gotta do play action pass. Shotgun. Here you go. Nice little dump to Njoku. Easy throw. Little 5-yard dump pass. Let the receiver pick up the yardage. 3rd and 8. And now you're in trouble and you take the sack.
This drops.
Damn it. I don't want sound. Took the sack. Now, as you can see, the Ravens were blitzing, right? They're blitzing up the middle. What Shedeur does, because the play was designed for Isaiah Bond, who, in all honesty, like when I watched this tape, I thought he was a good, heady football player, but for some reason, when these guys get up into the NFL, suddenly their football IQ gets very stupid. He never turned to look at the quarterback for the ball. So Shedeur was trying to look for him to hit him. Watch, I'll show you. All right, see, he's looking at Isaiah Bond, but Isaiah Bond's not looking back. Hold on. See, he's looking at Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond is not even looking. He ran this whole route. Can I scoot it slowly? Nope, I guess not. He ran this whole route, not bothering to look at Shedeur the whole time. In the Browns-Vikings game, Dylan Gabriel threw what would have been probably a game-clinching touchdown pass to Isaiah Bond down at the goal line inside the 5. It doinked off of Isaiah Bond's helmet for an incompletion on 3rd down. You know why? Because this stupid mother, father, sister, brother didn't get his head around to the quarterback to look for the pass. Anybody will tell you if you play a wide receiver or defensive back, especially if you're a wide receiver, instead of looking and trying to count your steps and looking at the field and where the defender is going to be, run your route and keep your eyes on the quarterback. Look back. Run with your peripheral vision. He's not doing any of that. His football IQ was terrible, worse than his, because Njoku was wide open. You know the blitz is coming. You know the blitz is coming. You don't have time to throw out here. This is a low percentage throw that he's trying to make. Njoku is your hot route. Njoku is your hot route. Hit Njoku over the middle. You see the blitz coming. And this is when they talk about, well, he wasn't prepared and he didn't take the snaps. It ain't got nothing to do with you taking snaps. It has everything to do with you studying the playbook. You're running the scout team offense, which means that your defense is mimicking the Ravens defense. When you see them lined up like this, film study tells you, shit, I need to get rid of the ball quick. Let's see if my hot route is open. Did he hit Njoku? Watch. He's wide open. Throw the ball. And he fumbled the ball on that play, by the way. Yeah, they're mocking him out there. And he fumbled. This was the play where he also fumbled the ball. See, watch. He fumbled the ball. Luckily, Bitonio fell on it. Second and 10. Staring down your receivers, incomplete. Can't stare down your receivers in the NFL. You got to look them off. You got to look the safety off. You got to look the corner off. Third and 10. Look, they're blitzing again. And here they come, right up the gut. Bam. And it's picked off. Picked off. When your hot route, whoops, hold on. When the underneath guy is your hot route, you see the blitz, you see it's coming, look for your hot route. Here's your hot route. Right there. Who the hell are you throwing to? Who the hell are you throwing to? Who the hell are you throwing to? Hit your hot route at the blitz. Here's a rollout. Look at this. Boom. Who are you throwing to? He's doing the rollout. This is your main target. This is your main target. Here's your trail route. This is your safety valve. Your safety valve's not open. Neither is your deep ball, your main route. But your second guy back here is wide open. Your running back is blocking. So you have a choice. Either you can run the ball or you can throw it. This is the NFL. I hate to tell you this, but this guy's not open. He's covered. This is the NFL. This ain't college. And as you can see, he tried to sneak it in there and boom. Almost intercepted. He was so mad he kicked the ball and that wound up giving the Browns the first down. Trying to hit Cedric Tillman. What are you doing, bro? 3rd and 3, shotgun. Rolls out again and smartly tucks it, runs, boom, first down. I give him that. Good play, good play. Calm down, calm down. Sit down, Goofy. Shotgun again. Now, keep in mind, the whole time, as Stephen A. Smith and everybody else saying they didn't tailor make the offense for him, he wasn't ready to play, all that. But he is not an under center quarterback. He spent his whole football career playing from the shotgun, 3 and 4 wide. So the offense was tailor-made for his style of play. Shotgun, 3, 4 wide. In simple reads, simple combinations, he couldn't do it. Look at this, holding the ball too long, trying to run out and sack. Who was open on that play? Take a look. Njoku's not open. I don't know who that is, but they're not open. They're not open, but Jerry Jeudy is breaking open. Jerry Jeudy broke open on that play. But because you've got a jailbreak and they're already on you, oh, I remember this play now. Let me see. Hold on. This was the design of the play. The design of the play was run the receivers deep, hit the running back on a dump pass, because your running back is the hot route. Your running back is going to fake a block and get up. If he's not open, throw it in his area anyway at his feet. That way it doesn't count as intentional grounding if you can't get the play off. So watch the running back on the play. Watch what he do. He goes, he fakes the block, he gets up, calls for the ball. Too late. First and 10, takes the snap, looks, has plenty of time, sack. Judkins is your hot route. If it ain't there, hit Judkins like now. Too late. 3rd and 12, they showing blitz. They back off. He runs out of the pocket. He got some yardage, but not enough for a first down. But you know what he didn't do? He didn't throw the ball away. He didn't throw the ball into double coverage. And he didn't take a sack. We give him that. That's the point. Shotgun, back throw the screen. It's dropped. I give him credit for that. Although, the play was dead, but at least he finally executed. Okay, here we go. Takes the snap. Back to throw, boom, triple coverage. He had Cedric Tillman open on the backside, right here. Cedric Tillman wide open. See it? He's wide open, but instead he tries to force it into Fanning Jr. Incomplete. He was double covered. Tillman wide open. 3rd and 10. That comes from improper film study and terrible eyesight. So here they come. They're blitzing again. Right up the gut. Why are you running outside the tackle box? Intentional grounding. Intentional grounding. Let's watch it again. Here come the blitz. You fading back. And you throw it incomplete. Now, in a lot of these getting chased, I will say it again. I've been saying it ever since they've been wanting to throw him in. You're trying to throw this type of guy, Mr. Hold the ball too long, Mr. Bad Read, Mr. Hero Ball, Mr. Run outside the tackle box. You're trying to put him in, you're playing him on an offense where the 2 tackles are completely terrible and will be gone and out of the league next year. And your wide receiving core needs a complete revamping because the guys can't catch. They can't get open and they can't catch. And you throw them into this mess. An unprepared quarterback who's not ready to play at the NFL level. You threw him into this mess. So it's not just all on him. The bad reads are on him. The bad throws are on him. But the line play, that's not on him. The wide receiver play, that's not on him. But you saw guys were open. Shotgun again. Ravens look like they're showing blitz. They don't. Back to throw. Good throw over the middle. to Fannin Jr. This was with the game on the line. And as you can see, the Browns offensive line finally held up because it was only a 4-man rush. So they were able to got a chip block there. They were able to hold, and then boom. Great throw. Down to the 40. Standard NFL throw, but a great throw for him in the situation that he's in. So 2 minutes to play. 1st and 10 at the Ravens 40. Shotgun. Ravens showing blitz. They got 5 on the line. They back off. You got time. Forced it into double coverage. You could have dumped it off. Could have dumped it off right there or right there. Hold on. You had 3 guys open short. Had 3 guys open short. Either one of these two would have done. I would have thrown it to Fannin because Fannin Jr. likes to run people over. And Njoku will probably hurdle you. And Ford, I mean, he can catch. He's a speedy guy. But he's not going to get yards after contact like Fannin would. So I would have dumped it to Fannin. Instead, he tried to force it into Jerry Jeudy. And we know Jerry Jeudy can't catch worth of shit. See? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? What's up, No News? Dude was under a lot of pressure to come in late. I'll give him that. Yeah, I'll give it to him too. So where he could have dumped it off, instead he went deep. And this is the problem, Stephen A. Smith. At least he moved the ball. He got the guts to stand in there and throw the ball downfield. Yeah, but he's throwing it into coverage. Double coverage. The man is covered. He's not open. So why are you throwing him the ball? When you know, you see these guys in practice dropping passes and not getting open. So why would you risk it? That's not the design of the offense. You got 16 points because of Dylan Gabriel was just dumping the ball off and giving it to Judkins. I hate that they went away from Judkins in the second half. That was very stupid. That's a huge knock on the coaching staff. But you want to see what you had in the kid. 2nd and 10. Ravens showing blitz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the line. Here they come. Good throw. Unfortunately, Fannin dropped it. Fannin Jr., he'll do that, though. So I give that to him. All right, hold on. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the line. 7 in the box. What you got? You got time. Dumped it short. Jerry Jeudy. Ba-boom. Ba-boom. Probably the best play. Matter of fact, let's be honest. That's the best play Jerry Jeudy made all year. I ain't going to even lie. And he got a first down. Kudos to Jerry Jeudy. And kudos for Shedeur for being able to read the blitz and hit Jerry Jeudy on the hot route, which was a short route. You wonder why the Browns don't throw the ball deep? Why they were saying, oh, Dylan Gabriel don't throw the ball deep. That's because your offensive line can't protect. Shit. This guy and this guy suck. Your tackles can't block. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Ravens on the line of scrimmage. 3 and 3 back. This should be an audible. Spread them out. Bring forward back to your side for protection up the middle. Find a hot route. Let's see what happens. They back off. They only rush 4. Step up in the cup. Nice run. Good one. You had Ford open out in the slot, though. You had Ford open out here. You see him out here? Hold on. Let me back it up. Here's Ford. Watch, he runs. Boom. He's open out in the slot. You step up. Boom. It's fine. We take that. We'll take that. So you're looking at second down, 2nd and 5, shotgun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Creeping up, boom. They rush 5, and this is the problem. You see how you running outside instead of stepping up into the cup? And I get it. This Browns offensive line is terrible. If I'm not mistaken, I think the left tackle just looked at the guy at the wrong time. Let me see. Oh, no, he got occupied. So this was a miracle play by Shedeur. See, he shook him up. Oh, my God. And then he pointed for Isaiah Bond going deep and overshot him. That would have tied the game. I give him kudos for that, though he overshot his man. But I give him kudos for that. He almost made a play. He almost made a play. So on the next play, 3rd and 5, 108 to play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the line. I mean, it's blitzing. 5 with a spy. Throws it deep to some wide receiver that's a practice squad player and incomplete. If anybody should have been running this deep route right here, it should have been, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it should have been Jerry Jeudy. Because, unfortunately, he's the best wide receiver you have on your team. Not some guy who, because the Browns were so strapped at wide receiver that they had no choice but to make a guy who should have been cut at the end of training camp and maybe on the practice squad. He's your 4th or 5th wide receiver. But you got to give him kudos for that. So here's the last play of the game for the Browns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the line. Because they blitzing his brains out. And then the snap. Tries to run outside the tackle box. Nothing's there. Incomplete. And that's the game. Wait, what happened? Did something happen? Something happened. I'm sorry. I didn't catch it. I'm sitting up here because I was on another page. Now, that's how you get 4 of 16 for 46 yards and an interception. That's how that happens. Can he get better? We'll find out. He's going to start this week versus the Raiders. He's going to have a full week of practice because no quarterback goes into concussion protocol on a Sunday, Monday, and he's out there playing again on the Sunday. The NFL doesn't allow that. They make you take a week off if you are in concussion protocol, whether you have one or not. Their new rules are you have to take at least a week off, a game off, just to be certain because of CTE. So he's going to get first team reps today, all the way through, and then we'll see what happens Sunday. We'll see what happens Sunday against the Raiders, who are also just as terrible as the Browns are on offense. At least they have talent. Well, at least they did have talent. At least their offensive line can block. How about that? They got a dynamic running back. They've got a dynamic tight end. They traded their best wide receiver, Jacoby Myers. They traded him, to the Giants, I believe? No, where did they trade Jacoby Myers to? Let's see. They traded him to the Jaguars. Their best wide receiver, they traded him to the Jaguars. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens against the Raiders defense and going forward. But I tell you what, if you see another 4 of 16 for 47 yards type of performance come Sunday, I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear any excuses because this performance was just as bad as it was against the Rams. It was just as bad as it was against the Rams. Just as bad. This is exactly how he looked against the Rams. Had no time to throw. Showed some flashes here and there, but overall, you saw the same mistakes. Trying to run outside the tackle box. Not adjusting for the blitz. Not trying to hit the hot route. Since now everybody wants to talk about reps, maybe now the offensive coaches can tell him, hey, look, as they look at the same tape that we just looked at, hey, look, when you see these people lined up right here, these are the blocking assignments you need to call for. We've watched the tape. We know how they like the blitz. We know their favorite blitzes, and you're going to see a lot of that in Oakland. I'm sorry, in Las Vegas. I forgot they moved. I forget they moved. You're going to see a lot of that against the Raiders. You need to find a hot route. We're going to give you two hot routes. Tight end, fullback, or wide receiver in the slot. Oh, that's right. They don't have a fullback. Judkins, your halfback. You're going to see a lot. You're going to dink and dunk. Just like Dylan Gabriel was dinking and dunking. With our defense, all you got to do is just keep us in field goal range and let the defense do what they do. If we're kicking threes on at least 3-4 drives in the first half, trust me, the defense will keep you in the game. The touchdown that the Browns got was off a pick six of Lamar Jackson. Myles Garrett got 4 sacks. Just don't turn the ball over. Dink it and dunk it. Keep us close. We'll run the ball. But the thing is, they got to teach him how to play under center. He has to learn how to play under center. This shotgun stuff is not working. It looks just as bad as 2019 when Freddie Kitchens was the Browns head coach and he had Baker Mayfield in the shotgun trying to run that college spread offense, and you can't do that in the NFL. You can't do that in the NFL unless you have a superb offensive line where your left and right tackle are going to Pro Bowls every year. Why do you think Patrick Mahomes and them were struggling? I mean, the refs helped they helped the Chiefs out tremendously last year. But you saw what happened when they got to the Super Bowl and played the Eagles. The Eagles ate Patrick Mahomes alive because his line couldn't block. They killed him. Just like right now. These, what are they, 5-5, 5-4, 5-5? They're getting killed because their offensive line is terrible. It has nothing to do with wide receivers. Their offensive line is terrible. But yet you keep running Mahomes in the shotgun because your offense is designed that way. You don't have a power back like a Judkins. You got Pacheco, who is like a scat back. Matter of fact, that was what was it? Something Hilaire. They got rid of him. But they got Pacheco back there who's good for running out of the shotgun because he's a tall, skinny scat back. You got a bad offensive line, run the ball. You got to protect your rookies. But what do I know? Yeah, but to close it out, I didn't want him here in Cleveland because I knew that this would happen. I knew that the Shedeur sycophants and the Browns coaching staff, the offense, it wasn't tailor-made for him. Wasn't tailor made for him. At any rate, we'll see what happens Sunday.
I mean, we just want volunteers, not hostages.